Alright everybody, so as you can see here, I have an IGT S2000 S Plus double dollars. It was a $1 game, 3 coin multiplier. And I just thought I would go over some of the basics of this game and the slot itself. Just a few things that maybe people don't know or are learning about these machines. I can just kind of go over some basic things that are common questions. Obviously, you have change, cash out, bet one, spin, and max. You'll notice that the arm is locked. The way that you unlock that arm, a lot of times people might think the arm is locked or broken, but actually, and you'll hear a click when I hit bet one. Now, the arm is unlocked. Okay? So anytime you do that, it'll unlock. Clearly I'm not winning. Okay, so something else that you might not be familiar with is you have two different keyholes, obviously. One is for the door, one is for the belly. For the belly, put the key in, pull this little latch here, and that will open the belly. Now you have access to your cash box right there. And if you look here, there's actually a little lever that you pull, and that's how the cash box is made. So it's easier access than having to open the door. As you can see, there's cash in there. Sometimes if you want to get money out of there quickly, you don't have to open the entire door, you can just open the belly. To get this back in though, you can't just push it straight in, you kind of have to lift up and forward, and it'll click. That should go back up, and when you hear that sound, that means the validator is successful in there. Close the door. Now this part, as far as closing this back up, kind of takes some force, so you kind of have to slam it. And this time you can actually see it didn't close, so there we go, I got it closed. And then unlock it. So, okay, so now I'm going to show you the inside. Now, to get this off, it's a little bit tricky. You'll see that this is here, and it's on there pretty good. So, what you want to do, let me grab you want to take your flathead screwdriver. You just take it on the corner here. See? Pry up. Just kind of pry it. This will come right off. Just like so. Okay? So, the next part to get the glass off is all you do is lift upward carefully. I'm using a phone to film, so it's a little bit tricky. And then pull that right off. Now you have access to your upper cabinet, which usually has a fan right there, kicking out heat. A light, obviously. Your candle is up here. You can see that there's actually screws, bolts, and all that kind of stuff to remove the candle. Some power cords. This board, I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I know it obviously does something. Yeah, and so yeah, that's pretty much the upper cabinet. The only reason really to be going up here is to install a progressive system or change the light bulb, really. Other than that, there's really no need to go up there. So as far as getting this back in, the upper glass, I'm going to actually set the camera up for just a second. It goes back in the exact same way. It just slides up and down. Pop this back on. Okay, so we're back in business with that. Alright, so let's take a look at the inside now. Alright, so in order to change your denomination from a quarter to a dollar, I mean, you can obviously do it without changing this front sticker. It's behind here. This is the light bulb, which is for the denomination sign, which has since burnt out on me. And this is your .7 matrix screen, which tells you about how much cash you have and hand pays and all that. This is the controller for this .7 matrix. To remove this, you have to take off this screw, and this screw. And while doing so, you have to hold your hand on the glass and everything, because everything will kind of fall off and you might break your glass. What I do is I hold my hand, remove this metal bar, remove this, and just let this dangle over your door cable. And that way you can remove the glass, change your stickers up here, like play 3 coins, blah blah blah, and yeah. This is your credits. This plastic's broken. This is your credits window, which tells you how many credits you have, how many you're playing, and what you're winning, how much credits you won. Okay, so let's go over here. Here's your bill validator. This bill validator is a WBA 12, and most of these bill validators, to remove, all you do is you pull back on this, like this. Since it's turned on, I'm not going to pull it out, but you pull back and the whole thing will slide out. So you just have to be careful doing that. But here's your ticket printer. Now, as you can see, well, I don't know, you can see that the light's not that good, but I have a stack of tickets in there, and the tickets print out. Really, that's self-explanatory, but to remove your ticket printer, there's a little latch up in here that you push straight back. When you push that back, it gives you the option to pull this out. If you ever need to change the ink, or whatever the case may be, you can do that. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, it's going to be dark, but I'm going to shut off the machine to show you the MPU board. So your power switch is up here, so shut it down like that. Now, you have to remove your tray here in order to remove your MPU, which is the motherboard essentially. On some of these, there's a little lever that you turn to pull this out, but on this, you just pull it straight out, it comes right out. Be careful when doing this because you don't want to damage anything. So, we get the light on. Oh, yeah, turn it on. Okay, so with this particular MPU, you have all of your game chips. Now, this is the Stepper Base 1000. You keep that in there for S Plus games, and your SS chip up here will change the game and payout percentage. Version chips, you don't really need to mess with that, and then these are kind of like your operating system chips right here. Up here we have, this is actually a separate chip. If you look, this entire piece here is resting on this motherboard and plugged in. But this is your sound sim, and that just pulls out, and that, you know, that's for like added sounds, you know, to have extra sound capabilities and some added sound effects. One problem I'm currently having that I still have to work on is this battery right here is causing, there's some corrosion. You can see it. And what will happen over time is this battery will corrode and it can destroy your board. So you have to remove this at some point. I need to remove it soon, but I'm not going to do that right now. So to put this board back in, you be careful, but kind of set it first. Get this kind of lined up. Doing this carefully. And then just kind of slide it. And then when it gets here, push, push again. Don't push too hard because you'll end up breaking the board that's back there. So I'm going to go ahead and power the machine back on right now. Actually, you know what? While the machine's off, I'm going to show you how reel removal works. So you have 1, 2, 3. To remove your reels, you just pull. Simple as that. Comes right out. And to put it back, you just put it there. And then this part, kind of have to push a little bit so it's all lined out. Make sure all 3 of these are flush, because if they're not, that's no good. Then you'll have this crashing into your reel glass and then no good. So I'm going to turn the power back on. Now it's going to take it a second. Okay, we're back in business. So Bill Validator is resetting right now. See my candles flashing. So right now, if I look at the door, it says please wait, testing memory. So for this particular machine, it takes about 20 or 30 seconds. So we'll go ahead and wait for that to finish. And once you know the machine is fully on and reset, the reels will line back up to the position they were in when the machine was turned off. Or the very last game, I should say. So you'll see that in a moment. Okay, any day now. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we know that the machine is functioning properly at this point. A couple other things I was just going to go over real quick is back up in here. Well, shit, can't really see it. But kind of up in this corner, you have your solenoid, which makes the clicking sound that we talked about in the beginning of the video. Sometimes that gets jammed up and it'll stop working. Literally all you have to do is just take your finger and push up on the solenoid switch and move it a couple times or jiggle it around and it'll start working again. But mine's been doing that more and I probably need to get a new one at this point. So, but yeah, this is your I/O card here. Well, actually your power supply is way back. You can kind of see it right there. That's the power supply. These are, you know, I'm not really sure what they do, but I know the power comes in through there. You can see that this used to be a coin-operated game, so yeah. So what you gotta do is put this back on now. And the speaker is actually magnetic, so when you're kind of moving it around, it can kind of be a pain, but it kind of just, if you look here, line that up, and it'll set. It's kind of hard doing that with one hand, so. Alright, so one thing I'm going to do now, before I close the door actually, is show you how to mess with some of the options in the system. So you push this little button here for about 2 seconds. You'll get accounting, history displays, options, I/O tests, game test, out of service mode, key chip config. Now, to scroll back and forth, this is your cash out buttons forward, this is backwards. This is essentially enter, and this is essentially backspace or back. This also will confirm an option change. So, first thing I'm going to show you is some of the basic things that most people will want to know how to do. So we're going to adjust volume. You go to 3 options, 3.2 sound options. Hit enter. See, it says volume control. Hit enter. Now it says gain volume. Hit enter. Volume level 2, 3. I like mine at 2, so when you have it selected, you hit that, and it changed that. There's your money volume. It's the same thing. It's how loud the noise is when you insert money, when it accepts the bill. So we're going to go back. Real spin sound, so real stop sound, mechanical bell, multimedia, volume control back. So we'll go to multimedia, enter. Track time, attract volume, real spin option, hand pay option, roll-ups option. So those are just some added things that you get with that. Multimedia light board. Bill acceptor, communication, download, gameplay, machine options. You go in here, you got credit option, handle, set time, limits, hand pay display, cash out, blah blah blah. Let's go back. Okay, so I/O test, game tests, out of service mode. Let's go ahead and look at history displays. Game history. Now see, it says turn key switch to start. So get your keys. This is one of these kind of keys, and it actually goes right back here into this key hole, and you turn it. So now it's going to let me look at the game history. 1 game back, 2 games back, 3 games back, so on and so forth. That's just kind of a cool thing that you can do, but yeah, it lets you look at the game history. Game state history, etc., etc. Main event, security, tilt, money in history, money out, progress. I think all that's pretty much, self-explanatory. If you ever need to run a test on something, you can do it through inputs and outputs and all that kind of good stuff. You can turn the machine in and out of service. Key chip config, this is something that you don't really mess with. I never really mess with it, but if you have to mess with something in there, then I would, and you don't know what you're doing, then ask somebody on the forum, because at that point you're gonna need help, and you don't want to end up messing your game up. Alright, so we've covered all that stuff and pretty much the basics of these machines. One other thing, the best way to close these doors for me is obviously turn your key using your thumb, lift up with your other finger, and lift upward. You kind of have to lift the door up, and I'll show that in a minute, but I have to put the phone down. As you're doing that, what I just showed you with your right hand, with your left hand, lift up right here, and that will help this close. And then you know you're good when obviously it doesn't say door open M anymore and the reels line back up. So at this point, there's $281 in credits in here. So we can go ahead and play again. And as you can see, I'm not winning. No, that was close. So, for any S2000 owners, I hope that you found this video informative. I'm sorry if I didn't cover everything you might have wanted, but I pretty much covered some basic stuff. Those of you that may have just ordered a machine have no idea what you're doing. Now you kind of have a better understanding, how the machine operates. So, if you have any other questions, just go on the forum here at New Life Games, and someone will be very pleased to help. So, take care and enjoy spinning.